So excuse me, I started recording before I'd even finished my world-class cup of tea. Do you know, actually that tea, I got that particular cup spot on. Just the right brew, just the right milk, just the right sugar. Not always the case. Anyway, you didn't tune in to hear about my cup of tea, surely. I'm doing things a little bit different today. So this is a pre-recorded video, but I'm going to open the live chat, just so as we can get your ideas on the team and I can interact with you, even though obviously me now here won't be able to see your messages. The future me in the chat will be able to interact with you. It may work, it may not, it may be a complete disaster, who knows. Anyway, this video is really about our team to play Brentford, which is tomorrow, and I think it's being live streamed, I'm pretty sure, by the club, either Facebook or YouTube or something like that. So hopefully we'll get to watch it. And I just thought it was very interesting after the two friendlies against Wickham and against Ipswich, and the way Moyes split his team, which I think benefited everybody, but also he didn't have to disappoint anybody. Basically gave everybody, apart from Roberto, who's off ski anyway, he basically gave everybody a bit of a game, didn't he? So we're not going to see that. So I'm expecting to see him just try and refine his team a little bit. Now, I do expect him to make wholesale changes, possibly the whole team at half-time, so try and give as many people game time as possible. But I do also think that with this Brentford game, with Reading and with Bournemouth, those are the friendlies before we play Newcastle, I do think he will want to start gradually working towards his top team, his main team, whatever you want to call it. So with that in mind, I've selected a little team, which is not quite the top team, but it's what I want to see, and I'm going to explain why. Then hopefully in the chat we'll get to see what you think as well. So anyway, with technology, I'm going to shift over a little bit to this side and pop my team up there. I could, do you know what? I couldn't be bothered to pop them all up individually. So there the team is there. Right, first of all, we got Fabianski in goal. We didn't see him in the two games against Wickham. Oh, it would have been a miracle. Imagine if Fabianski had played against Wickham and Ipswich. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? But he didn't play in either. And there was some talk about some of the players. I would include Fredericks in that. And because of quarantine measures and this, that and the other, they didn't feature. I don't know what the truth of that is, but Fabianski didn't feature. So I would want him to feature in this game to start getting some match sharpness up. What I would say is, I know some of you will know this, some of you wouldn't. You know, when there's a build-up to a football match, be it Sky or BT, and they're printing the team up, and the players sort of walk up and they then fold their arms or whatever, that animation that they use at the start of each match, they've been recording that over the past 2 days at Rush Green, and I know for a fact Fabianski wasn't there. Actually, Diop wasn't there. Rice wasn't there, and Roberto wasn't there either. But we know the reason for Roberto not being there. I'm not saying there's any big reason why Fabianski, Rice and Diop weren't there. It's not like they're getting transferred or anything. They just weren't. So it might just mean if they weren't available to have their photos taken for the photo shoot, possibly Fabianski is not available to play in goal. That being said, that's why I'd play him. I'd play him tomorrow, if at all possible. Ben Johnson goes in at right back. For the reasoning is quite clear. I do think he's our best fullback at the club at the moment. I do expect us to sign a fullback, but I'm not entirely certain we're going to sign two. So I want him to get as much game time as possible. In fact, I want him to feature in all the games. Simple as that, really. And so I'll play him at right back. Maybe in the next game he plays at left back, because even if we did sign two, I think Ben Johnson's going to cover both fullback positions. I do expect him to feature. So, yeah, he starts. Now, you may be a little surprised to see that I've put Baptiste at centre-back, and there's sort of numerous reasons for this. In whatever the final game is, be it Bournemouth or Reading, and certainly for Newcastle, I want to see Ogbonna and Diop play there. But for this game, regardless of whether Diop's available or not, because of the photo shoot and this, that and the other, I want to see Baptiste there. One of the reasons is selfish. I watched the full game against Ipswich and I thought the broadcast quality was fantastic. When I watched the highlights package or 50, 60 minutes of the Wickham game, I was very much from a distant angle. My point being, I saw a lot more of Elise than I did of Baptiste. So from a selfish point of view, I want to see more Baptiste, really. I also think that Ogbonna had such high regard for him. He said such nice things. A really rave report, by all accounts, from Angelo Ogbonna about Jamal Baptiste. I'd like to see that sort of partnership given another game. which obviously leads me on to say that I want Ogbonna to start in the game against Brentford. Obviously, I thought Balbuena was quite poor, and I also thought that was confirmation enough that maybe David Moyes might need to know that he might try and explore other options aside from Balbuena. I'm not writing Balbuena off, by the way. I still think there's a very, very good player in there, but I just think in this instance, I'd like to see Baptiste. I'd like to see Ogbonna. At left back, now this is, what many of us consider to be the problem position for West Ham. I'm going for Longelo, or is it Longelo? I don't know. Longelo. I always go with Longelo. And from what I did see, I thought it was very, very promising. But it's not just... So again, from a selfish point of view, I want to see more. I'm hungry to see these young players, right? I don't think there's any... I've nothing to learn from watching Aaron Cresswell again. I've nothing to learn from watching Arthur Masuaku again. If I've got nothing to learn about watching him again, I'm pretty sure that David Moyes has got nothing to learn. I would be absolutely stunned if either Aaron Cresswell or Arthur Masuaku could demonstrate anything new to David Moyes that he hadn't seen before, be it in a match or on the training ground. So whilst I think, yes, some of this is about getting match fitness, for a lot of the players that may well be the case, I also think for the younger players it's a chance for the management to interact with them and learn about them. And obviously I think this Longelo, there's a lot more to learn about, and we need to find out if there is another person that can play in fullback position, because even if we did sign one fullback, even if we signed two fullbacks, people get injured during the course of a season, so it'd be nice to know if he can play there. It would also be nice to think that maybe we could offload one of the senior fullbacks as well. I think that's farting in the wind, quite frankly. That's probably the wrong phrase. I think it's wishful. Maybe I think I was going for wishful thinking. I don't know why farting in the wind. It's wishful thinking. I don't think it's going to happen. In central midfield, excuse me, let me just adjust that camera there quickly. In central midfield, I want to see Declan Rice. Now, I'm not sure, for the reasons I explained earlier. If he's not available today, why would he be available tomorrow? If not, I think I'd just probably play Mark Noble there. Actually, no, I wouldn't. I've changed my mind. I'll play Cullen there. Like I say, with this team, I want this team to get changed at half-time. So don't think, he's left, he's not interested in Cullen, or he's not interested in Elise, or he's not, or whatever. Or Antonio. I am. It's just, this is what I want to see start against Brentford. So ideally Rice there. If not, let's see Cullen in that position. Sneaky swig of tea. That's a good cup of tea. That is world-class tea. Next level tea. Thomas Souček. Now, I didn't feel that the two in central midfield suited him, so I want to see this formation. I just think he operates better for two reasons. Number one is he operates better when there's a three in central midfield. And the other reason is I think he needs a covering player, which then allows him to go forward and get into the type of positions where we see him score from. So I want to see him play again because I want to see Thomas Souček play all the time, basically. Yeah, who else would you put in there? And again, it's so easy to try and shoehorn loads of youngsters in, but I think I want to start working towards a framework of a first team, so to speak. So Souček's in. I don't need to explain it too much. The one that probably does need a little bit more explanation is Manuel Lanzini. Now, Manuel Lanzini, I've already spoken about him this week, obviously. I want to see again. I want him to get another opportunity. I want to see if this is more than a flash in the pan. I want to see if Lanzini can start building up towards some form. I want to see more of the same. I want to see taking people on and so on and so forth. I want to see drive. I want to see him getting hit and then getting up again, and I want to see some desire. I want to see some attacking intent. I want to see him looking to try and curl that ball into the top corner, bottom corner, any corner, even the middle of the goal. If it went in the goal, I don't care which area of the goal he curls it into, just preferably the bit of the goal where the goalkeeper isn't. Is good. And I'll tell you what, you won't get better advice, footballing advice, than that. Try and hit the ball into the area of the goal where the goalkeeper isn't standing. I don't even have my UEFA badges, so there you go. So I want to see a little bit more of that, a little bit more attacking intent from Manuel Lanzini, more of the same. I also think we've got more to gain from Lanzini playing than Fornals playing. And bearing in mind, at this point in time, this position, for me, Fornals starts the season in this position. Just like Antonio starts the season up front, by the way. But I'm trying to get players into form with this here. I've got nothing to learn from Paulo Fornals at the moment. I know if we play Fornals in that first game against Newcastle, we're going to give 100%. He's going to run around a lot. And he's good enough at passing to find, accurate through balls and all the rest of it. With Lanzini, it's different. Basically, can we get the old Lanzini back is what I want to know. I'm sure you want to know that as well, so it'd be interesting to find out. I've put Bowen on the right ahead of Yarmolenko. I barely feel the need to explain myself on this one, quite frankly. Although I did feel Yarmolenko was a threat and against Ipswich, and I would fully expect Yarmolenko to come off the bench. There's some players that will come off the bench if we start with this formation. Fornals being one, Yarmolenko being another. But I want to see Bowen in tandem with Lanzini, which I think was, from the snippets that I saw, looked to be something that was showing some sort of promise. I think Charlie and Tom certainly alluded to a bit of link-up play between them, so I want to see that again. And I do think a lot of these players are all about momentum. I think we have momentum with Bowen at the moment. I'd say the same with Souček. We have momentum with him, which I want to keep going. On the left-hand side is Diangana. That's who I want to see. I don't want to see Fornals on the left. I don't want to see Anderson on the left. I want to see Diangana there. Plainly and simply. I just spoke about some sort of understanding between Lanzini and Bowen. There was certainly seemed to be an understanding developing between Diangana and Sebastian Haller, which is why I want to see him in there as well. Not only did Diangana play well, not only did Diangana work hard, he showed skill and he showed endeavour. I also liked the way he spoke. You may or may not have known he did an interview with the club, the official club channel, and I think you could just tell the way he was speaking. He was very pleased with his own performance. He's very pleased to be included in pre-season. And I think a lot of these players, I think there's a difference between being included in pre-season and being included in pre-season and thinking you're part of things going forward. So, for instance, Elise, I think he'd been pleased just to be involved. Does he necessarily think he's going to feature as a centre-half during the season? He probably doesn't think that. He probably doesn't believe that. I think with Diangana it's different. He's not just pleased to be involved. He's pleased to be involved with a view to thinking, actually, I can make this position in a team my own. And these players need to be able to think that, because it's very easy to let your head drop if you think, actually, I've got no chance. Regardless of what I do in these pre-season friendlies, Fornals starting on left wing, you don't want that. And I very much got the impression that Diangana thought, actually, this is my position here for the taking. And he was pleased to be involved. And I think quite pleased with the way he played. And he should be pleased with the way he played, because it was decent. Sebastian Haller, should be a shoe-in, right, anyway, because £45 million, and he scored a hat-trick in the other friendly, means he should start in this one. Yes. But I also think there's a lot of credit for the way Mikel Antonio finished the last season in many respects. The form player in the Premier League, some might say. You can pick two or three others from other teams, but you know what I mean. So who starts up front? As I say, I think as things stand, I would start Antonio up front for the first game of the season. But I want to see Haller get back to form. I want to see more of this. I want to see him developing an understanding. And I think a lot of the time when Sebastian Haller was isolated, it wasn't just that he didn't necessarily have a partner up front. You didn't feel that the other guys were getting close to him. So I actually was quite pleased just before lockdown, when Bowen had just got into the team. I thought Bowen and Haller were dovetailing really quite well. I thought Bowen was starting to play off him and getting into central positions more than he did when Haller wasn't in the team, funny enough. I think my point being, it may well be that Bowen plays better with Haller in the team than with Antonio in the team. I don't know. It's a hunch at this point. But I just feel that with Diangana driving the way he does, very direct, Diangana. Bowen, of course, is very direct as well. I just wonder if they can get close to him, and Lanzini can get close to him, because Lanzini likes to play 1-2s. And I think a lot of players probably feel that if you give the ball to Haller, you're going to get it back, particularly if he's got his back to goal. If you play the ball to him and then run off of him and try and play a 1-2 or try and play triangles, he's going to be happy to do that, and he will assist in you doing that. So I think if particularly Lanzini, Bowendy and Garner can get close to Sebastian Haller, it's just something I want to see. Now, I also think that this game will provide a sterner test. Well, it should do. I've already said it in a video this week. I think you're going to have a disappointed Brentford, really. They're going to have a bit of a point to prove. They've got some good players. They've got a good setup there, and they would have felt... I think they would have felt that they would have let themselves down in the playoffs there, and they probably could have performed and played an awful lot better. A lot of their bigger players didn't turn up in many respects. So that's going to be interesting. Also, don't discount that there's going to be a lot of players in that team. I think of 3 off the top of my head in that Brentford team who are going to want to put themselves in the shop window and be motivated enough to try and tempt a Premier League club into buying them. If that's the case, if they're motivated, they're going to be... reminds me years ago of with my old man. I was in the North Bank at West Ham, and West Ham were playing Everton, and my old man said to me, Cotty will play well today. Tony Cotty will play well today because he wants to sign for Everton. Broke my heart, by the way, that did. Tony Cotty wants to sign for Everton. He'll play well today. We took kickoff, and from kickoff, basically Tony Cotty tried to dribble past their whole team. He didn't score, but he had a shot at Neville Southall. I thought, oh, blimey, he was right. And because he was motivated, he wanted to transfer. He wanted to sign for Everton, who at the time were a very, very good club. And it does that when players have got a point to prove, and particularly when they're trying to get themselves a transfer, they do tend to perform quite well. So I do expect a better Brentford with a point to prove, and providing us with a sterner test. As for us, we'll discuss it after the game. What's happened? That's a team that I want to see. My team. Hopefully, you've already let me know your team in the chat. We've already discussed it. If you're watching this after the premiere with the live chat, then please in the comments below leave your team. What would you like to see? Anyone you want in? Anybody you want out? And of course, after the game, which is tomorrow, then I think Tom and Charlie will, hopefully, as long as it's live streamed, as we believe it will be, Tom and Charlie will be doing a watch along, of course, and then I will be back straight after the game on the main channel for a little review, let you know what's happened. If you want to watch it and send in a review, please do get in touch with us. What is it? hammerschat@gmail.com. Almost forgot there. Then you've got a video to send in about it. Send it in and we'll pop it up for you. Right, that's it. Let me know your team.